Title of this video is New Moon in Gemini, June 6, 2024. So my name is George Rabena, and this is another astrology forecast for the next new moon. This one is going to be in Gemini for the year of 2024, and it will feature an exact cazimi, where both the Sun and Moon will make an exact conjunction with Venus in Gemini. But this is a very fated astrological event for relationships, money matters, and for what you would like to attract into your life at this date. So any new projects, whether you go on dating, whether you go online, whether you advertise, sell or market yourself, or doing something in your business, or working on your values, working on your material possessions, or your beauty, your appearances, your sense of self-esteem. That's going to be the number one focus for this cazimi. So to make a little astrological prediction, I will put up the chart and work through this chart with you together. So looking at this new moon in Gemini will be at 2:38 p.m. in Berlin on June 6. Of course, this is European time. It will be 12:38 Universal Time when the new moon is exact at 16 degrees of Gemini, 0.18. When the Sun and Moon are in a conjunction, that is a new moon. And this new moon is in a conjunction with Venus, which is also at 16 degrees of Gemini, which is an exact conjunction. And exact conjunctions with the luminaries on a new moon or full moon, they're extremely significant because you notice them. It's like it's impossible to miss. Therefore, it's important to understand what you can expect to happen before the date arrives. So first of all, when Venus is making a conjunction with the Sun or Moon, it means that our attachments are invested emotionally into our self-esteem, how we appear. And Gemini is a very superficial sign, so this will highlight our communication, our words that are spoken, but also how we make a first impression, how we engage in small talk, in networking or online interactions. Which is why this is a good transit for anybody who has an online business, because if you're trying to advertise for your business, or if you're trying to attract new customers, you should make it an appointment to put yourself out there in a very active manner. Because Venus is a beneficiary, therefore you will be rewarded if you engage socially, to mingle, so to speak, to have some kind of interaction with somebody, because communication is the focus. Therefore, it's your words that are going to attract somebody. It's not necessarily going to be so much about your looks, but what do you have to say? What do you have to teach? And there could be certain business transactions that lead you towards a situation that has a dichotomy of some sort. Because these are very dual energies. Of course, in the sign of Gemini, we have Gemini season. So the archetype of a twin is about two angels. One that is masculine and one that is feminine, or one that is dark, one that is light. And these two angels, they are a part of our self-esteem moving forward. So there's a part of you that you would like to hide in this Gemini season, but it needs to be communicated, it needs to be brought into the light. So as the Sun makes a cazimi with Venus, what is brought into the light is that which challenges our self-esteem. So the way we deal with how we feel about ourselves, our self-image, is going to get a major upgrade moving forward. And all of these planets, they're making, if I can see this correctly, Sun and Moon are making a square with Saturn. That's quite heavy, actually. I haven't really heard anybody talk about this aspect. But if you notice that the luminaries are making a square with Saturn, this is extremely significant Of course, this involves Venus as well, because Saturn is about duties, responsibilities, restrictions, feeling stifled, feeling blocked, feeling challenged, feeling like somebody is putting up a boundary with someone, somebody is saying no to someone, and that no, they're not going to like that no. But that no is necessary. So there's some kind of a work, some kind of a responsibility that you have to take care of at that date in your relationships, which is going to destabilize the relationship initially, but is going to give you stability long term moving forward. So there's going to be some kind of unpleasantness around this new moon. It's not going to be nice, because keep in mind, all these three objects, Venus, Moon, Sun, are together making a square with Saturn. It's very significant. It's not a small thing, because the last time I can remember, when the Sun was in a square to Saturn, I was very heavily invested into my work, and I didn't have any fun during that time. It's not enjoyable, and this square is going to last for a whole week. Yeah, so this is going to last until the 12th of June, because only when the Sun moves into 23, 24, 25 degrees of Gemini will this come to an end, this square. So it will be a whole week of you working on something, being committed to something, saying no to something in order to gain something, some kind of stability that you're looking for in your relationships, in your self-esteem. So the best thing to do at this time is to say no. It's to stand up for something that you believe in, something that's important to you, and take a stand. And do not give in. Enforce it. Be tough about it. Because only when you're tough can you make these light-hearted planets work. And of course, on top of all these transits, there's also Mercury and Jupiter together in Gemini. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objects in Gemini, whole stellium, where we only focus on communication issues. So there could be a lot of flighty energy, a lot of mind energy. Usually it's the nervous system and the breath that are very heavily emphasized by this. Now breathing, I like to say, is grieving. So for some people there could be some kind of grief coming up. Like you have to let go of something, you have to detach from something, because Gemini, it is the bridge between what you like and what you don't like, and trying to find a middle ground, trying to find a compromise. This is what the dual signs do, just like Libra. They try to make opposites work together. And that's generally difficult to do. So there usually is some kind of a compromise that you have to make. But that compromise is in a square with Saturn. So if you compromise too much, it's going to hurt you. It's going to be karmic negative repercussions for it long term. So this is why Gemini is a very detached energy. So only when you're completely detached from your emotions that you can think clearly, that you can breathe clearly, and you can be calm in a situation that requires the color blue. Yeah, blue, because blue is calmness. The people who have communication blockages, they often wear this color, or people who have an avoidant personality, who try to avoid conflict because they are nervous around an issue that they need to stand up on, and they need to communicate, they need to be honest about it. But usually with Gemini, the shadow is dishonesty. The shadow is avoidance, withdrawal, trying to pretend like everything's fine when it's absolutely not, ignoring your emotions, when actually you should take care of your emotions while being detached from them, but still enforcing them to be that bridge at that time. And of course, both the Sun and Moon are looking at Venus together. So the moon is what we are attached to. What we need at this time is our relationship, which is why it's often a commitment is made at this time. Some people could actually marry. Others could simply start dating like I do. I just created a Tinder profile. So I am already getting into this Kazemi, knowing that if I start dating now, there's going to be astrological support to back it up. I haven't done it before, because before that I was too busy doing other things. There was this recent Jupiter-Algol conjunction, which forced me to do a purge first, clean up my shit, before I put myself out there. So if you've been doing that, cleaning up your shit, then now is a good time to engage with other people. Because when we move from Taurus season where you try to solidify your foundation, you try to build yourself up, you build momentum, you strengthen your self-esteem. It's only when the self-esteem is strong that Venus can finally attract the partner that you're looking for, the money that you're looking for. Otherwise, without the self-esteem, it's not going to be money to back it up. So everything is a reflection, internal and external, and that's what this Kazemi is trying to show you, to remind you how important it is to feel good about who you are, to know exactly who's boss and who's dictating what you tolerate and what you don't tolerate in your life. It's about learning a lesson in values. Where are my priorities? Where are my commitments? Do not fall into the trap of being scattered when all these planets are in Gemini. Scattered brain is the shadow of somebody who's not clear about what they want, about who they are, or how they feel about themselves or what they are doing. If the clarity is lacking, the nervous system takes a hit. The breathing will be erratic. The nerves will be restless. Which is why, again, I was talking about calming earlier, right? Blue being a calming color. So maybe it's a good idea that if you struggle keeping yourself calm with all the planets in Gemini, you bring some kind of calmness into your life. Other things that can help you are peppermint oil, or try to get rid of excess in your life. Things that distract you. Things that are stimulating. Yeah, because Gemini has a tendency to indulge in stimulants, addictions, drugs, distractions, TV program. I know because my father is a Gemini and he loves the TV news. It's like it used to be an addiction. And every time he comes visit me, he says, "Can I just watch the news real quick, please?" I'm like, "Yeah, you Gemini, you go watch the news." Because there's so much going on in the Gemini mind that they usually look for some kind of distraction. It's a very masculine sign, and with Mars still coming out of a Chiron conjunction, you could feel especially motivated or energized to do something, to do things, that's why Gemini is multitasking. But I recommend against it, because this Mars-Chiron conjunction that we're just coming out of, we're still feeling this Chiron conjunction right now. This Chiron, it is a wound I know from my personal life, because I have this in my natal chart. Mars-Chiron is when you feel stifled, when you feel unable to assert yourself or get what you want, because you don't know what you want. What you want is a source of shame, a source of hurt, a source of blockage. And Chiron is, like I always use this phrase, repetition compulsion. The compulsion to avoid your desires, running from them. Do not fall into this trap. Simply use whatever comes up, whatever pain, whatever hurt, whatever woundedness around our conflict, around not getting what we want. Use that anger to fuel you. Because with Chiron, the poison is the remedy. And the poison is, of course, whatever Chiron is conjunction to, which is Mars, our masculine, our protector, who tries to enforce what we want. That's the poison. Poison, why? Because it creates negative consequences in our life when we do what we want, when Chiron is conjunction Mars. And Mars is also a malefic, so there can be accidents, can be mishaps, so be careful, watch how you move. Because Mars can be very clumsy, I know from experience, when this conjunction is afoot. On top of that, the issue is that recently we had this moon in Taurus conjunction. Before it went into Taurus, it was conjunction Mars Chiron, and that was yesterday on the 2nd of June. And this was a date in which I felt like I just wanted to escape my home, because when the moon and Chiron are merged, and they're merging with Mars, it's a good time for accidents, something to break. Something did actually break in my home and it pissed me off, so I tried to repair it. But repair is naturally impossible with Chiron conjunction Mars, so don't even think that you can fix the past. What you can do is that you can use what happened to motivate you to move forward. But the issue is, if you're using pain, if you're using fear to motivate you, you are in essence operating in the shadow of Mars Chiron. To operate in its highest expression, you must do what you want, enforcing it, going through that purge, through that frustration, through that loss and detriment. Despite all the negative consequences, you have to go through it. Because if you don't do what you want, then the energy cannot be released. Then this window, which only happens once every 2 years, is going to be for nothing. Because Chiron Mars is about teaching you how to do what you want despite the negative consequences. If you cannot do that, it is actually showing you your character. How strong is your will? Because of Chiron Mars, it's showing you the truth, the reality. And for many people, this would be a tough wake-up call, a wake-up call that they're probably going to miss, not even knowing that they are operating under a very weak will, and then they are surprised that they do not get good outcomes, and they may even feel like a victim or like nothing is working, when actually all they had to do is to enforce who they are. But this is, of course, the Mars Chiron issue. But I know from my personal life, this is now a collective issue until the new moon. It will not stop until this new moon is over on June 8th. Then it will be completely concluded, while Mars goes into Taurus. And when Mars goes into Taurus, what you're fighting for is what is important to you. Your values, your self-esteem, your love, your beauty, your abundance, your money, your prosperity. The feminine is always kept in a box, always held back, always suppressed, always shamed and blamed, because you're not supposed to have any value. You're supposed to suck it up, be a slave, right? Do what you are told. Do not follow your will, because if you do, there will be negative consequences. People do not like it when you are divided from them, which is the essence of being an individual. And that's what Mars is teaching you, to be an individual in the face of wounding, knowing that it's going to make you vulnerable to attack. While the prison system is trying to keep all of us in a box, we get an opportunity to talk about it. Speak your mind. Do not hold back. This is a new moon in which it is going to completely transform how you communicate with people one-on-one. So if something comes up, like a trigger, and you're feeling like, should I say this? Should I not say this? Because I want to say this, because this is just pissing me off. Say it. Speak about it. Open your heart to your mind, because that is what Sun in Gemini is about. Open your heart to your mind, because if your mind and your heart, they're not working together, then there can be no bridge, no cooperation between masculine and feminine. There can be no success. So if you know this, that's very helpful information, right? To use the astrology to navigate conflicts before they even appear will give you the outcome that you're looking for. But that is really all that you need to know for this new moon. I don't really have anything else to say that's relevant, except that Mercury will be in Gemini, and the Jupiter is really helping to get out whatever it is that you need to get out. So these are the transits for today. One more thing. This is a Sun conjunction Venus transit. It's a Cazimi. And a Cazimi is a rebirth. Only happens once every year when Sun and Venus are joined. It's a new cycle. Starting on a new moon, this is quite rare, in Gemini. Maybe it's not so good to actually start dating now. Why do I say this? Because Gemini is very superficial. People don't like to commit. People like to keep it open. And I do not. I do not play with emotions. I do not play with what is it that I want, what is it that I need. Playing with that is setting yourself up for failure. But the superficiality of Gemini, it can allow you to make new connections, new friends. But if you're looking for something serious at this time, know that the energies are not supportive of that. But they are supportive of exploring and gaining very useful information about yourself and about realizing where the power is. It's in you speaking your mind, not holding back, not hiding in a box, not getting distracted, and not settling for superficiality, which is just fear, resistance talking, where people are afraid of opening the box of Pandora, which is their vulnerabilities, which they know they will be used against them and they will be hurt. But if you're not putting yourself up, if you're not ready for failure, you will not attract success, because cowardice, that is really the main issue here. Gemini, if you know any Geminis in your life, which I do because I have Venus and Gemini in my natal chart. So I have been surrounded by Geminis all my life. And from personal experience, they do not do well with emotions. They hide them, keep them secret. That is something to watch out for. Because if you are putting yourself out there and if you're engaging with other people, they may do the same thing. And they may demand that you hide yourself in return. Do not fall for it, like I always say. Be firm. Be tough. Remember that the Cazimi lasts energetically for a whole year. So this Sun-Venus moon will be squaring Saturn energetically for the entire year. It's about lessons. It's about karmic clearing. We are in the year of 2024. And 2024 is about removing what's in your way, eliminating the past, which are patterns of behavior that are rigid, stifled, dishonest, manipulative in your relationships. Eliminate them. Be the boss. Because if you're not, then external factors will try to control you, and you will absolutely not like the result. Because that is the year of karma. So, I hope that helps you. Hope you found this video useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. If you're interested in my personal readings, my services, check out the description down below. Check out my photo album page with my services on my page. And thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.